3 hours and 4 minutes into the flight, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to part 2 of our beautiful flight from Lima Echo Papa Alpha or Palma de Mallorca International Airport all the way to the capital of Finland, to Helsinki Vantaa International Airport. We are, as you can see, 80 nautical miles away from top of descent. Truly do hope you guys enjoyed the cruise cinematics portion of this video, but now it's time to start programming our descent and start entering into the fiery depths of what is supposed to be pretty significant weather as we start entering Helsinki. At least according to the latest projections by Sim Toolkit Pro, well, you guys can clearly see the kind of weather we're heading into. I don't know if we're going to have any significant weather at the airport itself at Vantaa, but as we approach it all throughout our route, we have some pretty turbulent looking cells, to say the least. So looking at the data we need from the METAR report, we have a local QNH of 981 hectopascals, temperature reading of 9 degrees, and wind coming from 220 degrees at 18 knots. So we have wind 220 at 18 knots. We have the temperature of 9 degrees and a QNH of 981 hectopascals. As for our decision height today, it's going to be 349 feet on baro or 200 feet on radio. We're going to go ahead and use 349 feet on baro. Let's go ahead and enter 349 into the baro space, and that is pretty much our descent programming all done. Next up, courtesy of FENIX, we can of course use the fantastic arrival sort of calculator, approach performance calculator, so we can go into the arrival performance and enter some of the values here. We're going to be landing on runway 22 left today, and well, let's not say it's going to be completely dry. There are some weather cells next to it, so I'm going to say good, maybe good to medium, just to be on the safe side of things. Apply the latest METAR data and then go ahead and calculate the landing weight. Now, for those of you that don't know how to calculate that landing weight value, you can simply go into the fuel prediction page, and here you can see your zero fuel weight, and then you can simply add the estimated fuel on board, which is this value, at your landing or destination airport. So in this case, we have 57.9 tons as our zero fuel weight, and we simply add 4.1 to that. That gives us a approximate estimated landing weight of around about 62 tons. So let's go ahead and enter that value in here as well. So landing weight, 62 tons, 62.0 just to be safe, and there we go. That gives us, with low auto brake, idle, no reverse thrust, manual landing, flap full configuration, and auto throttle on, we have around about 2,129 meters of runway used. And as you can clearly see from our approach chart for 22 left, these are the runway charts. The length of the runway is 3,500 meters, so we have plenty of spare runway left. Just to go over some of the other pertinent details on our approach, our missed approach altitude for today is going to be 2,000 feet, and our transition altitude is going to be 5,000 feet. We don't have ATC, so that is also going to be the transition level today. And finally, our initial altitude to begin the ILS procedure is going to be around 3,000 feet at BFIX. So with that all said, we can go back into the aircraft and get ready for approach. An odd VNAV choice in action here, as we see we're slowing down to 250 knots at the altitude of 22,400 feet. Usually you end up doing that as you get close to 10,000 feet due to the FAA, or not the FAA, but the international constraint of being under 250 knots at 10,000 feet. But here we see this happening much earlier. We also see a more drag message, which means we need to provide the aircraft with a little bit more drag. But developments are ongoing, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll be sure to keep you guys in the loop of all of these events as we approach Helsinki. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we approach 15,000 feet, I think we are close enough to the ground that we're going to turn on the seatbelt sign here to get everybody in the back to sit their butts down. But the FENIX A320, as is expected with the quality of this add-on, has managed this descent to perfection. It's been perfect. You know, it's been adjusting the rate of descent, the vertical speed, the actual speed of the aircraft itself, and everything perfectly. So no complaints from me so far. As we approach 10,000 feet, we'll switch to full live commentary mode, relatively sterile cockpit, and see how we go from there. Okay, so SimToolkit Pro was officially lying. The weather here seems absolutely fine. There's no significant weather observed at this time. Maybe it wasn't lying, to be fair. It did report that all the weather was around this airport as compared to being on top of it. But there is the airport, in fact, and that is the runway we're going to be landing at, 22 left. So take it in, ladies and gentlemen. We're reaching there quite soon. Approaching 10,000 feet, we're going to get both landing systems on the captain's and first officer's side. We're also going to get the landing lights on, the taxi lights can come on, the runway turn-off can stay off, and the wing can stay off as well. And that is pretty much us ready for landing, apart from all the flaps and everything like that. So that's going to happen in just a second. Once we go straight, take a base leg turn, and then turn to final for runway 22 left, which we have visual off, which is right there. There we go, slowing ourselves down to now 220 knots. Just to speed up the entire process, we can go ahead and arm the spoilers and take flap 1 now that we're below 230 knots as well. There we go. And hopefully that helps us out a little bit. We're reaching 5,000 feet. In fact, we've passed it, so it's time to set the local QNH of 981 hectopascals. And we have to do this on both sides before it starts barking at us. There we go. It starts barking at us pretty soon, doesn't it? 981 is set, and we're going to do the same thing for the standby altimeter here as well. So set 981 on the standby altimeter. There we go. Getting a few vibrations courtesy of FSRealistic there. We're turning towards the runway. We should start seeing the localizer diamond over there appearing as well, which should appear on cue right now. There we go. There's the localizer diamond as we turn towards the runway that happens to be around about 15 nautical miles away from us, or actually 10 nautical miles away from us. There it is. We can see the faint glow of the lights in the distance, and the beautiful sunset, of course, in the background. The glide slope diamond is coming down. We can go ahead and take flap 2 and go ahead and chime the cabin once. There we go. You guys at home, of course, can watch the entire replay of this landing in just a second as well, from different camera angles for your viewing pleasure. Of course, if you guys enjoy this video and everything like that, do make sure you give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Approach mode armed, flap 3 gear down as we come below 160 knots here as well. We can go ahead and take flap full. No need to worry about that stuff anymore. And upper ECAM, no blue. We're ready for landing. Now, my only concern here, guys, is that the speed is still pretty high. It's at 150 knots. And we're supposed to be having an approach speed or a landing speed of 130 knots or so. So that's my only major concern here. I am going to turn off the Tobii eye tracker. I think the mic being in front of me is messing with that. Ooh, never mind. I think it's starting to bleed the speed off here. Perfect. Nothing to worry about. Okay, I think we can take manual control of the aircraft here, so disconnect the autopilot. There we go, my aircraft. And all we need to do is set this down gently now. Alrighty, come on. Okay, make sure we follow the glide.
500.
Getting a few gusts of wind here. It is a bit of a headwind. Oh, we are dropping like a duck. Make sure we maintain that glide here.
300.
Auto throttle is doing everything it can to compensate. My chair is vibrating courtesy of the Next Level Racing chair. There we go. Perfect. 200. Maintaining those poppies like a boss. Okay. Time to start ignoring the poppies. 100. Oop, glide slope.
40. 30.
There we go.
20. Retard.
Retard, flare.
5.
Ooh, 5. Oh, we just missed the runway, guys. Oh, I'm sorry about that. This is going to be a floater, isn't it? Apologies for that, guys. That was not what you guys were looking for, was it? I'm sorry about that, but the approach was beautiful. Reversers armed. Let's give it a little bit of idle reverse. Here we go, 80 knots. There we go, we can vacate on the next taxiway. 70 knots, reversers stowed, manual braking. And that is us, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Helsinki Vantaa International Airport. I'm so sorry about that landing. I don't know what happened in the end. I think I flared a little too late, maybe a little too early. I guess with more full flight videos like this, I can practice my approach skills. So, so do make sure that you guys do tune into future landings with different aircraft on this channel. Alrighty, so as we vacate, we can go ahead and take the clock off with a total flight time of around about 3 hours and 28 minutes, which does indeed check out. Go ahead and slow ourselves down here. And we can go ahead and take the landing lights off. We can take the weather radar off. And we can take the TCAS to standby as well. Flaps can come up, spoilers disarmed. And all we need to do now is taxi our way back to the parking terminal. So according to the IRL information I found for this aircraft on FlightAware, we do park at gate 20, so I have instructed GSX to give us that gate here as well. It is going to be a relatively short taxi, but nothing major. We can go ahead and take flight director and landing system off on my side, do the same thing on the other side, and take our airport off as well. What else can we do? Of course, we need to start up the all-important APU before we get to the gate, so let's go ahead and do that here as well. APU on, and we can get the start switch on in just a second as well. Alright, let's go ahead and turn the APU start switch to on as well. And we can take the terrain radar off on this side. I think it automatically turned off, so that's all good. Nothing else, I guess. Just need to taxi our way back to the terminal. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so we should be approaching gate 20, which should be right about here. So I'm just going to make sure I can revoke any AI parking access, so free this parking from AI. Here's gate 23, ladies and gentlemen. Gate 20, I think, happens to be this one. Perfect. So we're going to be parking with a KLM and a Sun class, which I've never heard of before. So it should be exciting. And APU should be operational. We can take APU bleed as well, just for after we shut the engines down. Slow us down. Do we have a welcoming party there? Gate 20, we should have a welcoming party. I think we have a VDGS system, so there's no welcoming party, ladies and gentlemen. But let's see if the VDGS works at this airport. Here we go. We just ran over a tank full of fuel. That's okay. Classic Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay, so I think it recognizes our aircraft. All we need to do is get it in the center now, just making sure our wheels are in the center. Here we go. And slow, slow, slow. Okay, so it recognizes we're an A320. We're a little bit to the left. There we go, correcting. Oh, a little to the right now, correcting that. Keep going. Should I trust this VDGS? I'm going to trust it. I'm going to trust it. Keep going, and stop. There we go, stop. Too far. Alrighty, no worries. Parking brake off. And with all that said, our total flight time, ladies and gentlemen, was 3 hours and 45 minutes. Perfect. Okay, engine's off. And seatbelt signs can come off. Beacon light off. Strobe light should have come off way earlier, but that's okay. And we can go ahead and take the fuel pumps here off as well. There we go. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for checking out our video after my little hiatus or break, shall we call it, from YouTube. I want to do many more such full flight videos traveling different corners of the globe within Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think it affords us with a beautiful opportunity to do just that with these fantastic sceneries as well as photogrammetry and everything like that. I want to try out different aircraft, which includes general aviation aircraft and so on, so I can learn different things and maybe even do live streams, group flights and so on. So definitely do check out our Discord server where I plan to be way more active in the next few weeks and months. But apart from that, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification icon as well. More regular news content also coming out very, very soon. With that all said, guys, thanks for watching and thanks for flying by.